Hi, Peter Charles of Hooked for Life Fly Fishing, and today we're going to look at the roll cast. Now, if you've ever tried to roll cast on grass, you know it doesn't work that well. Yeah, there are ways to make it work, but it is a bit difficult. I'm going to show you a method today of roll casting on grass. It's going to be quite easy, and you can use it to practice your roll casting as much as you like. The other thing we're going to cover is the basics of roll casting. So if you've had issues with your roll cast and not sure why, we can cover that as well. So let's get out there and do some roll casting.
Okay, we're out in the yard and I'm going to show you how to roll cast and set up a rig so you can practice your roll casting in the yard without any water. Because if you've ever tried to roll cast on grass, you know it's difficult. So now we're going to roll cast, and I've got a little rig which I'll show you in a moment, and you can see how we can roll cast. So it's a lovely way to practice. So if you've never roll casted before, the essential part of the roll cast is to have something we call a D-loop. And that's line hanging behind the rod tip in a belly like this. If you don't have the line behind the rod tip, it's not going to work. So you definitely need that mass of that line behind the rod tip to get a rod loading. So as you can see, I bring my rod back and I take my time. I can sit here and have a chat with you all day. If we're on the river, the current will hold my line in place. And then all I need to do is just snap it forward like that, and I get a cast out of it. Simple as that. No problem at all. Make your D-loop, take your time. Your leader and your fly is in the water, that's called the anchor. And roll forward, and away we go. One more time. Now I've got a piece of wood that my leader's attached to, and that provides enough anchor that I can roll cast on grass. If I was roll casting on water, the water would do the job for me. The water would have grip, it would hold the fly and the leader. But when I'm roll casting on grass, that doesn't work. So what I've done, I've got a piece of wood and I've tied my leader to the wood, so now I can do a roll cast. Okay, one of the important considerations with doing a roll cast is to ensure that your anchor is in a position where it's not going to do you any damage. You notice that I've got one plane of me, a plane of the cast represented by the rod, and my anchor is on the outside. And that's the important part. The anchor has always got to be on the outside of you. It doesn't matter if you're doing it left-handed or right-handed. It's got to be over there. So when I make a cast, my anchor doesn't cross my line. So if I was to cast in this direction, my line would cross, as you can see. Now, at the best of times, that's going to cause a tangle. At the worst of times, the fly kicks up and hits you in the face and hooks yourself. So this is a safety reason. You always keep the anchor on the outside of your casting arm. So if I was casting left-handed, like this, I would have to be over here in relationship to my anchor. So I would have to be here, so when I made my cast, my anchor would be on the outside of my left hand. So there's no danger of me crossing.
Okay, and you saw what I did there. I simply took a piece of wood and I put a little screw-in eye and a ring so I could tie my leader to it, and simply use that as my anchor point. Normally the water is our anchor, but when we're on grass, grass doesn't function as an anchor very well. So by putting a piece of wood with something to tie our leader to, we've got an anchor. And from that point on, we can practice as much as we like. The other thing we can do is we can try different things. We can move around in a circle, for example, so you can feel the effects of wind if you're doing it on a day when you've got a bit of wind to work with. You could also try to deliberately make mistakes and see what will happen when you do. It's a no threat, no danger way to do things wrong and get away with that. So anyway, there's the roll cast on grass, and it's a great drill to practice, especially if you're not able to get out and fish. Cheers.